What day is it?
It's Nudie Magazine Day!
No, it's Vintage Guitar Magazine Day. All right, guys, we are starting back at the beginning. December 1986, guitar for the practicing musician. I love this guitar. I think it's the only picture of it in here. But, man, the beginning of so much happened with this guitar. Pretty amazing stuff. All right. DOD pedals. I got to get my hands on one of these. They're still not like $25 as they probably should be. Oh, Steve Stevens. A really dorky Epiphone ad. This is a pretty cool article. It's called In the Listening Room, and they got a whole bunch of Steves. They're just dealing with Steves. I don't know, that's the theme of the day, Steves. They got George Lynch taking a listen to Steve Vai, his Alcatraz. Do you guys know that album? Steve Vai's Alcatraz album? It's a little weird, but it's, there's Steve Vai on it. What does George have to say? Steve's got to be one of my favorite players. He kicks the shit out of me. All right. Intro was a perfect blend of styles. It's tapping, but it's not like Eddie tapping. That's kind of cool. Some Steve Lukather, Steve Harris, bass player. I don't know, does that count? Got some Hot Licks action. This is like early Hot Licks, I think. Like phase 2. Before they had the Lukather stuff and got really heavy. I mean, they're talking about tapes. It's in the tape. Dang. I have seen that Vivian Campbell one. I want to find this Mick Taylor one. If you guys haven't heard the Rolling Stones with Mick Taylor, you're missing out. I didn't really like the Rolling Stones until I heard Mick Taylor. Steve Clark from Def Leppard. That's pretty cool. Zeppelin is my favorite band. What else can I say? Jimmy Page is amazing. Well, yeah. Era of dorky ads. This is a Randall ad for an amplifier. And they're saying their amplifier screams like a parrot. And then they have a little macaw definition from the Encyclopedia of Birds. What are they doing? Steve Morse, one of my favorite guys ever, talks about how to record on a 4 or 8 track. So this is a completely irrelevant article now. Lifeson with his sweet little GK250. Run to the hills. Bass lines. More tapes. Pro licks. Oh, Paul Hansen. I think he still does demos and stuff. I've seen him at NAMM. All right, what do we have here? Guitar Secrets by Steve Lynch from Autograph. That guy's a two-handed ninja. I'm going to see if I could learn this and play it. If I could play it, I'm going to play it right now. Oh, here it is. The big VAI article. Now, this is amazing. Okay. When last we spoke, it was the end of Alcatraz, and you already secured a solo record deal with Capitol Records. The last time we spoke in this article, it was Alcatraz. This is like so early VAI. This is kind of pre-Rockstar VAI. But I don't know. I guess he was a rock star with Frank Zappa and Alcatraz, but I don't know, not to the world. And it was right after Crossroads. He says Crossroads took place the summer of '85 before an Alcatraz tour, which ended up not happening for whatever reason. And I guess, like, VAI was the hot ticket. Like, Dave was getting all kinds of tapes from every corner of the world, just sending him tapes and stuff. So it was 100% going to be VAI. And he already had Billy Sheehan. He goes, "Hey, man, this is David Lee Roth. How you doing? I'm making a movie and looking for some music. Would you like to come down and write some songs for my movie?" I don't know if you know this. The first David Lee Roth record was supposed to be the soundtrack for a movie called Crazy from the Heat. So that's what they did. David Lee Roth was up working on a script, and Steve Vai, Greg Bissonette, and Billy Sheehan were downstairs in his like rehearsal studio basement, rocking out, writing tunes, and they would say, "How about this tune? It's going crazy." Yeah, that's great. We have a scene for that. And then this movie never worked out. And so when you see some of the insane music videos that they have for this early record, that was all part of this, what seems to be a terrible, terrible script. Ooh. So I bet you that movie would have killed David Lee Roth's career. The interviewer says, "Going Crazy is the closest to a Van Halen song. The chords up front sound similar to some parts on 5150, and Vi, of course, is like, well, could be. I don't know. I haven't listened to 5150. I mean, it's crazy to me to go back to that time when these guys were creating these monumental records. The last song in the album, That's Life, Vi's playing a 335. And I take that song off of my playlist. I never listen to it, so it doesn't really matter to me. What guitars did you use on the album? Green Charvel, a beautiful Guild that was custom made for me. I used a Guild 12-string acoustic. I had an Ibanez for a while. Oh, foreshadowing. I had all my main guitars set up at rehearsal, including a new guitar, my Eyeball Jackson, 2 nice Guilds. One was black and pink. Another was pink. They were all customized to meet my standards. The Ibanez was a pukey green with pink. Look at this. They all got stolen from this rehearsal hall, along with his 2 best Marshalls and all of his guitar chords. Fortunately, he had his green Charvel and a pink Jackson at home. Oh, how crazy. I wonder if he ever got those guitars back. Just like everything. That's unbelievable. Someone's got all of his early guitars. What pickups did you use? DiMarzio's now, but I've also got a nice set of Bill Lawrence pickups. That Bill made the pickups that Dimebag Darrell and Nuno Betancourt, and for a while, Alex Lifeson were using. Cool pickups. This is Amp Talk, which is awesome. So on the album, he used a nice Marshall that was modified by Lee Jackson and a Jose Marshall. They sounded great, but they were both amps were stolen too. I have a backup, but they don't quite sound the same, although they are still very good. Where did these amps go to? Where'd these amps go? Ooh, he says, what will you take on the road? So he's doing the Lee Jackson on one side and a Jose on the other in stereo, and Carvins for the clean. That makes sense. Those Carvins have a nice clean sound. I like the Carvin clean. And Bob Bradshaw's building a big ass rack. In the rack, he's got a compressor, a Roland SDE 3000 delay, Yamaha delay, another Yamaha delay which splits everything in stereo, a chorus, a TC chorus, another chorus. It's important. You must have 3 choruses at all times, or you were not allowed in the 80s. And an Eventide. He's talking about this Eventide. Like, let me tell you about an Eventide. It's his new thing that no one's ever taken on the road. The SP 2016. That was before the 3000. He says, I'm going into the new Eventide 969 harmonizer too. Oh, Steve Clark from Pyromania. Who's this guy? You once said that your favorite approach to playing is to take some Albert King licks and see how they can fit into another tune. That, yeah, man. You take them licks. Albert King. Oh, have you just listened to Albert King? Because he's ferocious. If you like Stevie Ray Vaughan, go back and listen to Albert King. Steve Perry on Songwriting. They were writing a song. John came up with some cool chords, and Neil jumped in with his Kurzweil keyboard midied up to his electric guitar. Dear God, what is happening? Ugh. This MIDI guitar. Oh, Steve Stevens lessons. So nice. Look at all these musical things. It's like intimidating. They stopped doing that. They realized that guitar players just want, like, just put some numbers on the page, man. Just put some numbers. Oh, Steve Cropper talks about, working on Soul Man. He just walked into the room, plugged into a Fender Harvard with a 12-inch speaker. Oh, that Tweed Fender Harvard. Buddy, those sound so good. And for, like, at some point they were like $800, and now they're just stupid money again. All right, record reviews. Eat 'Em and Smile by David Lee Roth. The bottom line is Dave tries, but only survives. Sheehan and VAI show off, but there's little in Roth's musical buffet worth smiling about. Wow. Bummer. Buzz Morrison didn't like the album. But spandex clothes for today's rock and rollers. Sweet. Oh, yeah. And this is where the rest of those articles went, because the guitar magazines would start an article and then finish them at the end. Like here, VAI. And everything ends up at a SPX 90 effects processor. What's your favorite Van Halen song? I like Unchained, says Steve Vai. Steve Vai is correct. Well done, Steve Vai. Are you looking at guitar synthesizers? I'm very interested in the Jackson guitar synthesizer. What is happening? What year was this? 86? Oh, guitar synthesizers. That just failed miserably. No one went back to that. And the charts. All right, coming in at number 1 for guitars is Kramer Guitars. Amps and basses. Peavey takes the top spot for amps and basses. Amps. 86. Effects. Boss, of course. Kutuk. What is Kutuk? I must do some searching. Kutuk. ADA. Very nice. Speaking of which, what is Holmes amps? Ugh. All right. Wrapping it up with a Peavey ad. And yeah, we're back to autograph. It all comes full circle. So nice.